Hello, it's Rhonda Shear with 2 great movies and a salute to 20 years of Troma films. Next on USA Up All Night. Good evening, and welcome to USA Up All Night. I'm Rhonda Shear, and tonight I have a special treat for you. We'll be taking an in-depth look at the movie Schindler's List. You'll meet the cast and creators of what will surely be a motion picture classic for years to come. We'll start by... What?
I'm sorry, Miss Shear, you've been given the wrong script.
Thanks. I guess there were some last-minute revisions. Let me start over. We do have a special treat for you. We'll be taking an in-depth look at the movie The Toxic Avenger. You'll meet the cast and creators of what is surely to be a motion picture classic for years to come. Gee, aren't you lucky? We might as well dig right in. It's The Toxic Avenger on USA Up All Night. In the honor of the 20th anniversary of Troma Films, the world's largest independent film company, we're showing The Toxic Avenger. I'm Rhonda Shear, continuing our look at what has become an American staple when it comes to toxically altered superhero movies. Troma Films released The Toxic Avenger in 19-something or other, and audience response was enlightening.
It was funny.
Oh, it was the best film. I would go see it. I totally told like 5 friends to go and see it.
It gave a message more than anything. That's one of the most movies I've seen that gave a message, a powerful message.
That was the best movie that I've ever seen.
많은 사람들의 호응을 받고 있어요.
I mean, I'm from Germany, so to me it's special that I can watch this movie.
I think it showed them, you know, what it's really about.
The ending wasn't the way, the twist in the ending, the way that you thought it was going to be.
많은 사람들의 호응을 받고 있어요.
They've totally taken special effects to a new level.
You know, he had a positive mind, you know, and he knew what he wanted.
It was cool. It was action-packed, the whole thing.
많은 사람들의 호응을 받고 있어요.
I loved it. I'd go see it again.
With such strong reactions on their side, Troma proceeded to make 2 sequels to the original and a cartoon series for television. When we return, USA Up All Night will show you just how widespread toxic fever has become. Recently, Troma has become a brand name. You'll start hearing Xerox, Kellogg's, and Troma all in the same breath quite a bit now. In addition, the exposure that The Toxic Avenger has received in the past couple of years has been amazing. It's also been a bit frightening for parents. Toxie has been spotted at major media events and hobnobbing with Hollywood's elite. Our staff has been following him, and we've put together a look at the life of a major celebrity.
Here's Toxie!
Yes, he's come a long way. Every time you see that guy, his face looks different. Hey, it works for Michael. Let's get back to the movie that started it all. Here's the Toxic Avenger on USA Up All Night. In our research of Troma films, we've learned that they receive thousands of letters a day. While sifting through the complaints, we did come across a few that were interested in Troma's movie magic. Here's one that reads, Dear Mr. Troma, I am 9 years old, and The Toxic Avenger is my favorite movie ever. I think it's really neato when Toxie smashes a man's head in a weight machine. How the do they do that? Tommy Grammarock, Pocatello, Idaho. Well, Tommy, here to explain is Lloyd Kaufman, president of Troma Films.
You know, that's a great question, Tommy. For 20 years, Troma's been blowing up people's heads, squashing their arms, flattening them, ripping their guts out and splattering it against windshields and on the busy city streets. Sounds easy, right? Well, it's not. For 20 years, we've been developing the most realistic, disgusting special effects in the business for a very low budget. And tonight, for the first time, we're going to reveal to you, Tommy, how we do it. For example, when you remember when the little boy got his head squashed by the tire of the car in The Toxic Avenger Part 1, you never saw that little boy in any other movie. Well, that was before Troma had created and developed its special effects technique. Now, we're going to demonstrate on Kim here how Kabuki Man crushes her head in the movie Sergeant Kabuki Man NYPD. Okay, Kim?
Okay.
Here, we take a melon. It's usually riper in season, 39 cents a pound, and we paint a very likable face. We take a wig, expertly matched wig that matches Kim's hair. We've taken a long time to do that. We put it on the melon like so. But before we go to the effect, we take some cranberry sauce, and we put it in, we call it loading the melon. We put it in, and that's good, Kabuki Man. Now, Kim, could you put your head, if you just put your head on the ground, and Kabuki Man will prepare to stomp you. And now, what happens is that just as the foot is about to crush Kim's skull, Kim will remove herself, and we will place the special effects piece. Thank you, Kim. You can stay right there, probably, and watch this. We will place the special effects melon here, and we will put the wig approximately here. And now, now of course, Kabuki Man, you will do the honors. Please, whatever you do, Tommy, do not tell any of your friends how this is done, because these are Troma secrets, and they're between you and me. Thank you, Tommy.
Fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. USA Up All Night will return after these brief messages. Our crew was fortunate enough to catch up with Lloyd Kaufman and Michael Hers at Troma headquarters. Lloyd and Michael have been a team for 20 years. These two men have held Troma together and are the masterminds behind the operation. We decided not to constrict these old friends with structured questions. Instead, we just let them reminisce about the great history that made Troma what it is today.
You know, before the dueling scene, Maury says, "They are both enjoyable to ride. In fact, mine ex-wife wasn't a flexible flyer." When we do the dueling, in other words, can't we do that scene from Class of Nukem High where the guy's head splits open and the guts and his guts are sort of?
If you want to do the dueling, and you want to be original, you shouldn't refer to Class of Nukem High.
Michael, you know, I don't know what's. Oh, I got this pain, but you know, hurts. At any rate, no, it's dead dudes in the house. Do you do that kind of? How's the style? What kind of style are we gonna have?
The style is cinema verite. The style should be cinema verite.
All right.
I don't really understand this Romeo and Juliet now.
Yeah.
This is a love story, or is it an action adventure horror with special effects story?
Well, it's Shakespeare. In other words, it's in, as you know.
So it's action, horror, special effects, violence.
Yeah. So I know it's 20 years of Troma. We should look to our classics. I got this back thing. Just give me a massage.
What, here?
Yeah. That's it. Oh, God, I've still got this. You know, the stress, I'm really under a lot of stress, Michael. You know, Roseanne, did you see that Roseanne show and Muriel? And it's okay. As long as you don't call it homosexuality, it's all right.
Kim is still here, and...
no, she went home. She put a jacket on.
Well,
yeah, he's with the... And
let's just do a little work.
As long as you don't call it that, right? And I won't tell anyone. It's what you call it. That's what it's all about, right?
No, once or twice is okay, but I don't want to make a habit of this.
Please, Michael, come on, it's late. You know, you know, I think it'll help us be more creative, you know.
Nah.
Well, it's just, but I keep thinking about the nurse and Juliet. Doesn't that get you a little excited, Michael?
All right.
Let's go to a commercial. Quickly. Quickly. Our Toxic Avenger Film Festival and 20th anniversary salute to Troma continues on USA Up All Night. Joining us now via live satellite transmission from Tromaville is president of Troma and creator of the Toxic Avenger, Mr. Lloyd Kaufman. Hello, Lloyd. Can you hear us?
Listen, Hillary, don't you talk back to me. I want those sheep in my house at 9 o'clock tonight, and not those little scrawny ones like last
Lloyd,
time.
listen,
you give me some sheep with some meat on them, right? With the little behinds
I
and the
don't
ribbons
think
and the
that
bells.
Lloyd
Right?
can
You
hear
hurry
us.
up now.
We're obviously having some technical difficulties. We'll join Lloyd after these very special commercials. Lloyd. We're here with Lloyd Kaufman, president of Troma Films. Lloyd, let me start by asking, Troma has enjoyed tremendous growth. In fact, it has become the largest independent production company on earth. That being the case, what is your favorite color?
Interesting you should ask, Rhonda. Blue is my favorite color. You know, anthropologists say that most societies see blue as signifying sadness or dolefulness. I disagree. To me, it's very soothing and peaceful, like death.
Lloyd, Troma has recently become an officially licensed brand name. In fact, you even have your own infomercial Troma system that airs right here on USA. So, who do you think was a better motorcycle rider on Chips, Ponch or John?
You know, John was a good motorcycle rider, but he was so cautious. He never got hurt. On the other hand, Ponch took that very nasty spill, and he looked death in the face. So I go with Ponch. He's deader than John.
Really? Yes. Finally, Lloyd, I've noticed that in its glorious 20-year history, most Troma films contain an overabundance of blood, guts, and nearly nude women. In lieu of that, do you think the Phillies can have a season anything like the one that they had last year?
Well, Rhonda, conventional wisdom has it that the Phillies will finish out of the money due to their soft pitching as well as the questionable health of John Kruk. But the Phillies are a team that have a lot of heart. I predict the Phillies are going to be in the race down to the wire, and the pennant will be determined by a sudden death playoff. And speaking of sudden death, I'd like to blow my brains out.
Well, Lloyd, I'd like to thank you for giving us some valuable insight. And now back to the Toxic Avenger on USA Up All Night.
Hey, give me one. Hey, give me
Troma's been in business for 20 years and we're finally doing Shakespeare. Oh, I hope I get the part. I hope I get the part. Oh, Tromeo! Tromeo! Where art thou, Tromeo?
Let's continue our salute to Troma by answering another letter from a viewer. Dear Troma Films, I've seen Toxic Avenger 2 8 times. I really like when Toxie tears that man's arm off. It looks so real. did you do that? Just curious. S. Spielberg, Hollywood, California. Well, here to explain is president of Troma Films, Lloyd Kaufman.
You know, now Troma uses special effects experts, and we create anatomically correct limbs and arms that we can yank out of people's sockets. And the interesting thing is we take a stuntman, we politely ask him to place his arm behind his back, and then we simply, and of course he has to put on an excruciating expression of pain, and then we simply take his arm and we just shove it out.
This is serious.
We used to take stuntmen and we used to use their real arms. We used to cut off their real arms. But it created a surplus of one-armed stuntmen in New York who could only work in Troma movies. Now, on the other hand,
Lloyd,
we've got these special effects taken.
Excuse me, Lloyd. I've got that fake arm you wanted, and the stuntman's ready. Where do you want to do that scene?
Man's arm.
The pulling of the arm.
It's almost like, oops.
I guess that's why they make the big bucks. Watch this commercial and we'll be right back. It's time for another look at the movie magic that is Troma. Here's another letter that reads, Dear Troma, no matter which Troma film I watch, invariably someone ends up foaming at the mouth. It kinda makes me horny, but then again, what doesn't make me horny? Anyway, how the did you do that? Signed, Warren Beatty, Beverly Hills, California. Well, Warren, here to explain once again is president of Troma, Lloyd Kaufman.
Mr. Kaufman, I have the Alka-Seltzer for you. Are you ready?
Now back to the Toxic Avenger on USA Up All Night. Now, for the conclusion of The Toxic Avenger on USA Up All Night. We're done with our first Toxic Adventure, but stay right where you are. Up next is The Toxic Avenger 2. This movie is similar to the last one, except it has less senseless violence. Well, she was probably asking for it. USA Up All Night will continue. Rhonda wants to hear from you. Write me, Rhonda, USA Up All Night, P.O. Box 5719, Beverly Hills, California, 90209-5719. And now, for the exciting conclusion of the Toxic Avenger 2 on USA Up All Night. That brings to a close our in-depth look at Troma's The Toxic Avenger saga. I hope you've gained some insight to the visionaries that created this legend and what makes them tick. If you found these movies offensive, I'm sure they'd be satisfied with that too. I would like to leave you with the last masterpiece from this trilogy. It's The Toxic Avenger 3, The Last Temptation of Toxie. I'll see you next week when we'll do something completely different all over again. Until then, remember, from the keeper of the sizzle kiss, if it's LA, it's Rhonda. Up all night. Nighty-night.